Hello, friends. I'm Dana Bristol Smith with Leap to Success. We are a women's empowerment organization based in Carlsbad, California, and I welcome you to Self-Care in Stressful Times. And I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge you for giving yourself 30 minutes to decompress. And it's probably, as you're watching this, we're offering this live at lunchtime. It's a Tuesday afternoon, and it's just the perfect time to take a few deep breaths, to regroup, to give ourselves some respite. So I hope that wherever you are and whenever you are watching this, because we know we've got a lot of people on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page who come and watch these, but just acknowledge yourselves, give yourselves a pat on the back for giving yourself 30 minutes of respite. The topic today is declutter to lessen stress. And we're tying this to our affirmation theme this month, which is I am strong and resilient. And sometimes, we don't feel strong, we don't feel resilient. And one of the things that can be getting us down is having a lot of clutter around us. So I'm really pleased to tackle this topic once again, and this time with a professional organizer whose name is Marguerite Smith. So I'll invite Marguerite to come on and say hello.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I'm really excited to have you give us some tips. But before I bring Marguerite back on, I would like to check in with you. We do this at each of our webinars, and that's to check in and see what is the current level of stress that you are carrying on a scale of 1 to 10. So here is our poll. If you would go ahead and please click on the button alongside the number that is appropriate for you on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Okay, it's got a few more seconds, so let's see what the collective level of stress is. And as I look outside today, it's a blue sky day with a lot of warmth, which feels so good, and that tends to lessen my stress. And it looks like right now we're at about an average of number 5, halfway on this stress scale. So I'm glad that the summer weather is helping you have a little lower of stress, and we'll see if we can take that number down even further over the next 30 minutes together. So what I'd like to invite you to do right now is just take a nice deep breath and feel your body. This will be a short guided visualization. Just feel how your body is sitting in the chair that you are sitting in right now. And if you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And just notice how your feet are resting on the ground. Notice how the chair is supporting your legs and your back. Notice if there's any tension that you feel in your shoulders or your neck. Sometimes that's where we tend to carry a lot of stress and a lot of tension. And go ahead and take a nice deep breath in as if you're breathing from the bottom of your feet all the way up to the top of your head. And go ahead and release it. And do that a couple of more times. Deep breath, as if you're breathing from the bottom of your feet all the way up to the top of your head. And release it. And one more time, deep breath in from the bottom of your feet, all the way up to the top of your head, and release. Now go ahead and put one of your hands on your belly. And as you breathe in, I'd like you to notice if your stomach inflates. So take a nice deep breath in and see if your stomach moves. And breathe out and see if your stomach deflates. Most of us breathe very shallow. We're really only taking the air in through our chest. So we'll feel our chest expand, but not our belly. And it's really important to take in deep breaths. It helps to release lactic acid, stress, tension that we're feeling. So now this time as you breathe in, see if you can consciously expand your belly and consciously deflate your belly as you exhale. And you might notice some muscles that you haven't noticed for a while in your belly. And now at your own pace, I'd like you to take 5 deep breaths in, expanding your belly, and then contracting your belly 5 times at your own pace. Good job. I'm on my number 5 right now. So taking a deep breath in and exhaling, contracting my belly. And I'd like you to do that one more time. And as you breathe in through your nose. And as you exhale, I'd like you to exhale through your mouth. And you can feel it a little more forcefully as you exhale through your mouth. So again, one more time in. And exhale through your mouth. Good. And now bring your awareness back to your feet resting on the ground and bringing your awareness up your body to your legs, feeling the support of the chair beneath you, to your back, up to your shoulders, and taking a nice full breath in and then exhaling it out. Good job. Well, that in those few minutes, I bet that your stress level has gone down a little bit more by conscious breathing. And that's something that you can do any time of the day or anytime even at night before you go to sleep. And I bet that you will have a better night's sleep by just letting go of the day and by using your breath as the way to let go of stress and let go of tension. So thank you for your participation with that. And now I'd like to give a more formal introduction to our guest, Marguerite Smith, who is a residential organizer, and she's the owner of aimtoorganize, LLC. She is a member of the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals and has served on the board of the San Diego chapter. She holds a specialist certificate, having completed coursework equipping her to work with clients who have brain-based conditions, and I'll ask her to explain what that means in just a moment, or those going through life transitions. Marguerite has taught Clear Your Clutter classes through Vista Adult Education, which is actually one of our community partner agencies here in North San Diego County, and she loves working one-on-one with clients, teaching them skills for getting and staying organized. So welcome, Marguerite. I'm happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Dana. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. And Marguerite, because I'm curious, go ahead and would you share a little bit more about the audience of people that you work with and what does this mean, brain-based conditions?
A lot of people suffer from disorganization in their lives because of things that are going on mentally and emotionally. That can include autism or ADHD, anxiety, depression, traumatic brain injury. So there are different approaches to organizing, different adaptations and modifications based upon a person's individual needs that come into play and create an environment that is causing clutter to accumulate.
Thank you. You know, I was just reading recently that 40% of adults in the United States have reported experiencing depression during the pandemic, which is 4 times what it is normally. So normally about 10% of the population, and over this past year, 40%. And I bet that having a lot of clutter around you and really not being able to make decisions on what to let go of contributes to that and people feeling really stuck. Have you noticed that in your profession?
Stuck is an excellent word because, yes, the depression creates the inability to take action, and the inability to take action just compounds the problem. So working with my clients, one of the things that we're working towards first and foremost is getting unstuck and finding strategies to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet that's really helpful to have somebody like you alongside of them to help them, figure out what is the path to letting go, because it can feel so incredibly overwhelming that we do.
Overwhelming and underwhelming, and they kind of go hand in hand, and they also are part of depression. I'm going to give an example if you don't mind. I have clients, and these are two common scenarios, that have either lots of accumulated paperwork or a stuffed to the gills garage. And on the one hand, they're overwhelmed by the quantity of stuff. On the other hand, they're underwhelmed because it's not exciting to deal with it. I have a client who brings in her mail every day, but she puts it on the table because it's not really calling to her. It's not something exciting that she wants to deal with. And at the end of 4, 5, 6 days, she has so much mail that she's overwhelmed and doesn't feel like she knows where to start. And those together can cause a person to feel inadequate, lead to the depression. It's just a cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. Well, I know that you had a question that you would like to ask our live audience members. So why don't you share the question, and we'll ask Alyssa to go ahead and put that up in the chat so we can find out what's going on with the folks who are with us.
Sure. So I'm curious as to what impact clutter plays in your life. How does it affect your day-to-day functioning, and how does it make you feel?
Great. I think about we're at the stage of life where we're helping our parents go through stuff, and my husband's father is the person that you described with just so much stuff, and he has boxes for the stuff, but the stuff isn't in the boxes. So he has an accumulation, an overwhelming supply of boxes that are empty, and an overwhelming supply of stuff that one day he wants to put in the boxes, and he won't let go of either the stuff or the boxes. So that stuck is really something. Okay, we're starting to get a lot of, well, boy, we've got a topic here today. We'll have a lot of energy on. So here's the answer to your question. What impact does clutter have in your life? Someone says not wanting to go inside the garage. Another person says overwhelmed. Another says exhaustion, stress, overwhelm. Somebody says makes me feel scatterbrained, disorganized, unproductive, stressed, guilty to have so much stuff. And someone says incredibly impacted by clutter. It's overwhelming. I don't know where to start. And it has caused anxiety and depression. I'm working on doing 10 minutes per day.
Okay.
Well, that's probably a good strategy.
That is an excellent strategy. And one of the things that I often tell people is start at the beginning, at the starting line. Don't focus on that finish line that seems so far away, because that's when the overwhelm and the, oh my goodness, I'm never going to accomplish this, sets in. But if you set your timer, and I'm a big believer in timers, set your timer for 10 to 15 minutes and give yourself permission to stop when that timer goes off. But get started, just get started. That's the first step. Don't look at this finish line, look at the starting line. And also work on your mindset. A lot of people feel like they should deal with the clutter. And I know that should often leads to shame when we don't do something. It's, given the theme of strong and resilient, shoulds don't have that effect upon us. Instead, I can, I will, I want to. When you change your mindset, you become that strong and resilient person. And even 10 minutes at a time, you're making a difference. You're making an inroad.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny that you should talk about shoulds and have tos, because we actually teach a piece of our Leap to Confidence program that you have not been through, you haven't had exposure to. And a first exercise is all about that, looking at those things that we feel that we have to, and then being able to make the transition to choice. Right. And know that it is our choice, whatever we do. But I think this overwhelming, we've got a lot more responses, and I want to read a few more of them here. One person says, I can't focus on other things if I feel that things are messy. Someone else says unmotivated. And then this one just makes me laugh because she says constipation. Oh, that's a good way of looking at, like, environmental constipation.
Yep. Yeah.
That would be a good one. Frustration, anxiety. Yeah, I think we've got a theme here that people are connected to. So what if you don't know where to start? How do you even figure out where to start?
There are two places to start. One is the low-hanging fruit. What's the easiest thing to do? And you can do it fairly quickly. It's not going to take too much effort. Maybe it's cleaning out your sock drawer or your spice cabinet. It's not that big a deal, and there's really no emotional attachment to the stuff. There's just an abundance of it. The other is to start with the thing that is really weighing you down, the thing that's going to lift that burden from you. And it might be more difficult, but you're going to get that sense of satisfaction that's going to keep you going. Don't look at the whole, break it down. Think about this. If you were planning a party, the party wouldn't happen immediately. You would first decide a date, a theme, a guest list, send out the invitations, buy the refreshments or get a caterer, whatever you need to do. Break down the overwhelming clutter into more manageable pieces and choose the one that's either the easiest or is going to have the biggest impact.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think about tax time every year, and I dread it. I dread it because of the paperwork. I mean, I've gotten much better with keeping things organized and in files throughout the year, that it's no longer nearly as difficult when I was just starting to have organization systems in place, personally and for my business. But it's so interesting. So when I dive in and actually do it, it takes much less time than it used to. And I realize, gosh, this really isn't so bad. But I have the memory of it being so completely overwhelming. So it's like, how do we get our mindset unstuck? Because we have this, what I see coming in all these chats is dread and anxiety and frustration, which are, we carry those things with us and they're so heavy. Any other suggestions that you have for dealing with that element?
Well, I have a couple that might be helpful. First of all, many of us are much harder on ourselves than we are on others. So give yourself the same grace that you would give your best friend. And that means probably putting away perfectionism. A lot of us put off doing things because we can't do it, we feel, perfectly. Ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen if this isn't done perfectly? Better is often just a matter of getting something done, not getting it done perfectly. Have some positive imagery. Imagine how you're going to feel when it's done. And this is often a lot more powerful than imagining what your space is going to look like, because really it's about how that is weighing us down. And reward yourself, whatever that means. Maybe it's calling a friend or taking a walk, doing some deep breathing exercises just to get yourself centered again.
So you probably don't want to reward yourself by going out and buying more stuff, I imagine.
Probably not. The other thing,
some of us, we might have that mindset.
Well, and you might, but if you bring something new in, just let something else go. So it's okay to bring something new in as long as you're not adding to. But here's another thought. A lot of us have huge to-do lists, and just looking at those lists stops us in our tracks. But I'll bet that while you're not necessarily getting everything done on your to-do list, you're not just eating bonbons. So here's an alternative. Instead of creating a to-do list, create a tada list. So every time you do something, write it down. And at the end of the day, reflect upon everything that you were able to accomplish and give yourself some credit for that. You know, there's a lot that we have to deal with. Clutter is one of the things, but it's not the only thing. So if clutter is accumulating, maybe it's because your priorities and your time and your energy really are elsewhere, and that's appropriate for this moment in your life.
Mm-hmm. I like that idea of a tada list.
Yeah.
So there's like tada, so you can celebrate that accomplishment of doing something.
Right.
And I think it's great having defined projects or the 10-minute timer, 15-minute timer. I think breaking it down can really help. Somebody else has responded, I like the idea of the timer and taking baby steps, which we don't have to get it all done, and putting away perfectionism. That's a good one, because I think
that's really good for a lot of people.
Yeah, really. One of the things, Marguerite, that you mentioned when we spoke earlier is how to create a kind of sanctuary space in your home. So I imagine a space like that doesn't have clutter in it. So how would you go about creating a special space in your home?
Well, you want to, and this is true for a lot of home offices. People have, over the year that we've been stuck at home, maybe set our auspices up differently than we had in the past, where it was just a place to dump stuff and then move on. But any place that's going to encourage you to create a sanctuary is going to be filled with light, with color that is soothing to you, with sounds and aromas that relax you. And it doesn't have to be a huge space, but having some place that you can escape to and recharge can motivate you then to go out and create other spaces that are more organized. But meet your needs. Decluttering, organizing really should be about serving yourself and who you are at this time, and letting go of things that no longer serve you or just really don't help you move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds great. What other tips do you have for us? Because I know we talked about the people procrastinating and feeling overwhelmed, and when you do that, you can't make confident decisions about things.
So there are a couple of things. One is, if you have an accountability partner, you are much more likely to be successful. Just deciding to do something and making a conscious decision, you're 25% of the way towards your goal. But if you have a specific appointment with an accountability partner, somebody who you've shared your goal with, and you're going to check in with them at a given date and time, you're 95% more likely to get done what you had planned on doing. So finding somebody that you trust, that you feel is a support, not an ag, that can be really helpful. And then in terms of making decisions, here are a couple of things to consider. If you use maybe and someday in the same sentence when you're deciding to keep or let something go, chances are really good that day is never going to come, and you're probably not going to need it. Also, we often tell ourselves, well, I could do this, excuse me, or I could use this for that. Replace could with will.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Don't you hate when that happens? Yeah, it happens too. And while you're regaining your composure, I want to talk about the important that language and how we talk to ourselves. I think that's really important, and I really like that. If you use maybe or someday as you're trying to make a decision, do I keep this or not? Because I think, yeah, maybe I'm going to be 3 sizes less than I am now. So I'm going to keep those jeans that I haven't worn for 20 years.
And what do they do in your closet? They just taunt you.
Yeah, and they collect dust and they take up space.
Yeah. The other thing, talking about your jeans, let's suppose you have a closet full of pants. Chances are pretty good that there are only a few of them that you wear. Think of those as your best friends. Next, those best friends are in the wash. You go for your acquaintances. But there are probably some pants that hang there and hang there and hang there. They're strangers. And you're never going to make friends. You've had the opportunity. They're not even acquaintances at this point. So that's another way to decide what to hold on to and what to let go of. Keep your friends, some acquaintances, but say goodbye to the strangers.
Let them go haunt someone else in their closet, huh?
Well, and that's the thing. They might be somebody else's best friend.
Yeah.
But you're not giving them the opportunity, and you're not giving that other person the opportunity either.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. Well, I know that we're getting close to the end, and it's come up so quickly here, and we wanted to get some more input from the folks who are with us about, and let's just see, are there any other challenges that you experience with clutter, maybe getting stuck, and we can ask Marguerite about those. And I see something that says, I currently have 2 drawers full of clothes that no longer fit me, and I keep them in case I return to that size. Maybe it's time to let them go.
I would say it is time to let them go. And if you ever get back to that size, then are they still going to be in style? Are they going to express the person that you've morphed into? Or are you going to want something new to celebrate that accomplishment?
Yeah.
Also, again, giving yourself some grace. You are who you are today, and it doesn't really matter what size you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we have another question for our folks. Are there any challenges, any other challenges that you experience with clutter? And I see that someone has written, sometimes what we save, actually there's so many coming in, is what we save is a memory of who we were or an important experience. How do we let go of those pieces?
Ooh, sentimental things. Those are the toughest. And then I suggest that you think like a curator. Keep the most meaningful and the best examples of that period in your life. I have a lot of clients who save every greeting card they've ever received, which is very nice. But maybe in looking at all the cards that you've ever gotten from Aunt Bessie, you keep the ones that mark certain milestones in either your life or hers, and you let the rest go. You're still going to remember and love Aunt Bessie.
Yeah, that's nice. And yeah, I've got a lot of those greeting cards, and my mom told me she's got a whole drawer of everything that the 3 of us kids have sent her over the years. Yeah, it's really hard to let go of those things. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah, someone else is saying the big challenge is she just cluttered, that she still feels like she has clutter, even as I think maybe we notice it more when we start to tackle it. So
I think we do. It's like when you have company over, you see your house through different eyes. And once you start decluttering, you start to notice everything else in your surroundings. Quite often when I'm working with clients, it's kind of like an archaeological dig. And that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, that is. Well, Marguerite, I want to thank you so much for sharing these tips. I know that they're really helpful. And I'm going to ask Alyssa, she'll go ahead and put your contact information up in the chat. So if anyone would like to reach out to Marguerite with more questions, or to find out about how to have her come work with you at your home, I'm sure she would be delighted to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy to continue the conversation with any one of you on your particular needs. And I thank you for this opportunity. Really do.
Oh, thank you so much, Marguerite. As we close here, I have a quote, and then I've got something to share with you all. So the quote is, and it's from John Robbins, and his book was called The New Good Life, Living Better Than Ever in an Age of Less. And he says, in the never-ending battle between order and chaos, clutter sides with chaos every time. Anything that you possess that does not add to your life or happiness eventually becomes a burden. And that was from John Robbins, The New Good Life, Living Better Than Ever in an Age of Less. And I think that many of us are working on letting go of those things that really weigh us down. And Marguerite's tips were really helpful. And what I'd like to share with you all as I close is that we at Leap to Success have just launched our brand new Leap to Your Best Life affirmations. And these have been written by members of our community, our graduates and staff and supporters. And I'm just so happy to share them with you because we talk a lot about our mindset and how we shift to have a more positive mindset. One of the tools that we use to do that are affirmations. So look at this one that I just pulled. I am alive. Pretty important to recognize. And I'm just going to pull one other. And this is a good one to close with. It says, good health and wellness are states of mind that I can choose. And I think I will add that we can also choose to pay attention to our environment and make choices about what is in our environment that serves us, what is in our environment that haunts us, like the jeans up at the top in my closet and probably in yours too. And what are those things, as Marie Kondo says, that spark joy in us? And I think we want to make those kinds of choices so that we feel lighter, more in control, and certainly have a whole lot less stress. And that is my cue to check in with you and see what is the current level of stress that you are carrying now, and take a look and see if your level of stress has decreased in this time that we've spent together this afternoon. So thank you so much for filling that out. And after the poll, I will ask Alyssa to go up and put up a link to our affirmation page online, because these are now available for sale. They are $25 per deck, and you can buy them for yourself. They're beautiful gifts for friends, anybody that you really want to encourage and inspire. These will be a wonderful tool to help that. So thank you so much for voting on the poll. And we have come down. We've got a few people still up at the level 5, but now down at 1 and 2. So it looks like 3 is our stress level right now. So I'm very glad that you have decreased your stress. Thank you for being with me. Our next live webinar will be the first week in July, because we've now transitioned to offering these twice a month, the first and third Tuesday of the month. We will continue to send out the invitations to you, and thank you for sharing them with friends and colleagues to help them lessen their stress as well. So be well, my friends, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.